You can open your right and left hands, unclench your fists, and raise up your sons and daughters. If you don't let go of the hatred, that's what they'll know, that's what they'll follow. You want them to climb purple mountain majesties and feel resounding beats of your freedom. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties rising beyond the fruited plain. America, America, I'm praying for you now. Please crown the good in everyone. Come on, come on, come on, show me now. Thank you.
I feel like God's favorite, well, pretty much every day, but when I get to be up here, extra, and when I get to be on with someone like Mindy Dillard, wow, woo, just like gives me goosebumps. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I have some personal friends that showed up today, and some have never been here before, and it really means a lot to me. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And for all the rest of you, I feel honored to be in everyone's presence. You're all just pieces of God, and it's pretty awesome because you're pretty amazing. I wanted to share an event that happened in my neighborhood yesterday. Do any of you have that little neighborhood app? And because I don't think this will make the news till like tomorrow, but there's a little app, and you hear things that are happening in your neighborhood, and I got this little notice, and there was a bunch of police cars, and they'd come and gotten some people out of this house, and there were a whole bunch of live turkeys in the basement, and they were arrested for foul play. Okay, I have one more. This is a riddle. Now, this is a riddle because I taught second and third grade, so prepare yourself. Now, if you happen to know the real answer to this riddle, just keep it in your little head. You can tell us all later that you knew it, okay? Some of you might figure it out, but I loved telling this to my students when I taught. So, because Thanksgiving is this Sunday, or Thursday, which side of the turkey has the most feathers? The outside, thank you. Kids love that one. I do too. All right. I love groaners, they're the best. All right, I just so appreciate how we start our services, how we have a thought, thank you, Theral, and a beautiful prayer and amazing music. And it gets our minds open, but it really helped me. And then we sometimes sing along and we get moving again. I'd like y'all to take just a really nice deep breath. And exhale. And allow yourself to be supported in the chair you're sitting in. And relax. And open your minds and open your hearts and open your bodies to a little bit of learning. it is my intention today, and they're coming up for a reason, to be able to share with you some new thoughts about gratitude that might put a different twist on things for you, but also so that you can recognize the contrast in your feelings and be able to choose a higher vibration, a different emotion at will. Before I ask our team to sing, we're all going to sing in a minute. I know I like to do things different. But I wanted to ask, and you don't have to raise your hand but you can. Tell me if you've ever experienced a time when, maybe sometime in your life, maybe recently, maybe when you were a child, when you were told something like this: you should be grateful. There's starving children in other countries. When I was your age, okay, from the giggles I'm getting, that could be actually something some of us have heard from time to time. And sometimes our own little head says that. And I want you to know, you giggled, and I'm happy you giggled, but in reality, imagine yourself as that 6-year-old that was told that. That feeling, it's called shame, and it has nothing to do with gratitude. So I'm a big football fan, and I'm just going to say, boot it the hell out of your life, because it's crapola, and I don't want it there anymore, but I want you to recognize it for what it is, and don't giggle it away. It's very, very negative energy. We want to feel. The only good thing I figured out about shame and guilt, I did figure out, they do have one redeeming quality. They're a great contrast to how we want to feel. So now you know you can feel that sting, and you can even bring yourself back to the sting of that, but we want to vibrate at a much higher level. So today I'm going to share with you a few tools that I have used practicing gratitude, because it's the skill, actually, and I've been practicing it for a long time. So I invited our team here to share a song, and you all sing with it. Most of you are familiar with this song because it's one we sing every week. And we sing it when we're about to give our love offering. And I want to share with you the experience I had the very first time I came to Center for Spiritual Living. And I came from a different tradition of religion. And when I gave there, I will say this, there were times that I gave from a heart full of love, but it was more often a feeling of debt and obligation and a little bit of fear, because if I didn't, then I was in trouble with God. So, and when I came here and I heard this song, and it moves me every single week, so can we please all sing real quick, and then we'll come back to me.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you for coming up and doing that extra for me today. So, years ago, I don't know how many of you have ever had insomnia, but I get it from time to time, and I've had it from time to time for several years. And a lot of times when I would wake up in the night and I'd just be sitting there going, okay, I got kids to get ready in the morning or whatever, then I could get a little stressed out, and then it gets worse, and it becomes this vicious cycle. So I began doing some little weird things in the middle of the night. And one of them was that I made up a game of ABCs. And I call it my gratitude game. And here's the rules. I would start with the letter A, and I would, in my head usually because I'm trying to sleep, I would express gratitude for something that began with the letter A. But, now I like to make things a little more difficult on myself, I have a few rules. Well, really, there's only like one rule. It has to be something that I've never expressed gratitude for before. And that made me stretch a little bit more. And because it's my own game, I did have some extra rules, because I know some of you are already skipping ahead and saying, man, I wonder what she came up with for Q. I have a few extra rules. Every time I can be quite grateful for anything I want, or with the letter V, I can be very grateful for anything I want. Still has to be something I've never been grateful for before. X can be a challenge too, so I can be extra grateful. And when you make up your own games, you get to make up the rules and change them as you like too. It's a wonderful thing. Z, which I seldom made it to, which is great because I would finally go to sleep. I could be grateful for zebras as often as I wanted. So, now I share that with you because it was a tool, but I didn't know it was a tool. For me, I was trying to go to sleep. And it actually did help me go to sleep, but it also changed my emotions and my feeling from one of fretting, because now I'm not getting the sleep I want. It shifted me to, well, for one, I started thinking something else, but it would shift me into a different emotion, because gratitude's like the best feeling there is. Sincere, heartfelt gratitude. That song, I Am So Blessed, moves me every time I hear it. And I often sing it to myself in the middle of the week. A lot of people don't drive in my car, so everyone else is grateful. But in my head, I sound a lot like, Carrie Underwood. But not necessarily if you really sat next to me. Anyway, so that's just a little tool, and I've used it now for years. What I didn't know was that I was unconsciously, because I wasn't doing it on purpose to practice gratitude, but they call it practicing gratitude. And it's really called practicing gratitude for a reason. Not obligation. I was just practicing. I was just, opening my mind up and saying, what is something that I've never been grateful for besides an apple, that begins with an A? Artichoke hearts. I don't think I've ever done that one. Oh, I love those. Okay? So it shifted me a little bit. But just like when Shemaine's aunt was here a few weeks ago, this woman is probably a concert pianist. If not, she's very close. But she mentioned that she's had a lot of people say to her, oh, I wish I could play like you. She plays 6 to 8 hours a day. I wish I could play like that too, but I'm not willing to pay that price. However, this is the thing that I've recognized. I love the feeling of gratitude. I'm flying up here when I feel gratitude. It's kind of like even with joy and love, okay? It's a high vibration. It's an amazing emotion. Contrast it with that little bit of shame doo-doo we had earlier, okay? I want to feel this as much as I can. And without knowing that I was practicing gratitude, I made up this little game, and I was getting better at gratitude. So my number one tool probably that I use is music. And that's partly why we sang. I have playlists that I can pull up. I have special songs that, boy, I'm not kidding. My daughter said to me one day, and I loved this. It was a great compliment to me as a mom, even if she didn't mean it, but I think she did. And I love compliments. Sometimes I write them myself. No, anyway, she said, Dad was always so grumpy when we had to do chores, you have to get out there and pull the weeds or fill in the blank. I don't remember that about him, actually, but that was her memory. She said, "But Mom, you always put on the music to Footloose when we had to clean house." And I do. I put on good music. It makes me energized. I feel good. Then it's not drudgery. It's kind of joy. I can dance while I'm doing it. So music is my favorite tool. These may not be tools that you use or that you have purposely used. See, when I first started the ABC game, I wasn't practicing gratitude on purpose. I was trying to go to sleep. But I did, even if you sit at the piano and you play every day, it's still practice. Whether you intend to become a concert pianist or not, you're still getting better. And so even though I didn't know I was practicing gratitude, I was. Now I consciously do it. Now I do it on purpose. If I feel myself in an emotion that's somewhere down here on the lower scale, I know I have tools I can pull out to shift me so that I can, and the more I practice, the faster I'm getting at changing from those. And do I ever get on my pity pot? Yes, I do, occasionally. One time with Jewel, I will never forget, because we were driving down the road and we had this horrible traffic and I was driving, and she knows that one of my favorite sayings to myself is, "How is this perfect for me?" Because it helps me shift too. And I was probably complaining with a few expletives about the traffic backup and the detour we'd taken, and she looked at me, she said, "How is this perfect for you, Sally?" And I almost made her walk from Ogden, but I didn't. But honest and truly, it shifted me. I realized right then, as soon as she said it, quit complaining, Sally. There's goodness in this. You get to spend more time with Jewel. And she's pretty awesome. So the third tool that I'll share with you today, and I think this is my favorite, and I don't really have a name for it, so I'm going to just say it's to go deeper in your gratitude. So this morning, I hadn't decided what my example would be on this, but before I got out of bed, I checked Facebook a little bit, because that's really important. And but there are some fun things. Anyway, someone had posted a song that was a mashup. I think it's called a mashup. When they put more than one song together, isn't that called a mashup? If I got the word wrong, it's okay. And if you know me very much, you know I love country music. Back in the day, I used to say it was the one and only true music. Anyway, I still love it. I love all kinds of music, but country is my favorite. And this particular mashup, and it was a little video, and then it had all the singers on it. It was the song Country Roads by John Denver, and it was mashed up with I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, and with a little bit of On the Road Again by Willie Nelson, and there might have been another one in there too. And I listened to the song, and it was really unique, because and about every 3 or 4 words, it's a different country star singing. And I mean to tell you, they got them all. They got all the big names from today, way back. And then at the end, it kind of reminded me of that We Are the World song, how all the rock stars got together for that. This was kind of country's music's form of that. And at the end, they're all standing in, like 50 or 60 artists in this field, I don't know, probably wheat, and they finished the song together. It was just beautiful. So here's what I do when I go deep. The whole song made me happy. So already I'm feeling elevated. But then I think about how many people were involved to produce that. We have camera people and producers that do the sound, and whoever thought of this had to invite all these stars and get them on board and coordinate so they could be filmed, and someone edited that film. And someone wrote those songs. Someone paid for the lessons that these people had when they were kids to learn piano or guitar. I got the benefit of every single hour of labor that every one of those artists has put in. Thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of them playing in their room, practicing their guitar. And all I have to do in today's technology is pull it up on YouTube, and I, at demand, or what's the other one, Spotify, on demand, I can have all those amazing artists enter my living room and serenade me personally. How blessed am I? When I drive down the road, often I go deeper, especially if I get frustrated with traffic. But I particularly love to do this when I'm on a road trip, because I love road trips. I think about, and I know we've all seen it, how many millions of dollars have gone into our highway system? Billions when we think of the nation. I could drive over and see my daughter in St. George in about 4 hours. In climate-controlled comfort, with my best stars that are serenading me on the way, in a car that's really comfortable. How many people in the snow and in the summer worked and sweated or froze so that I can drive down that road in just a minute, 75 miles an hour? I'm overwhelmed. I love the world we live in. We have gifts all around us all the time. And we can always shift. All we have to do is, and that feeling I get when I'm feeling gratitude, I just think, I am God's favorite. Golly, billions of dollars. Also, Sally can drive down to St. George. Now, that's how I personalize it. You might say, what a vain girl she is. She thinks the whole world revolves around her. Yeah. And it revolves around you. It's all here for you. My firm, deep, heartfelt belief is that everything in the universe is here for us. Everything happens for us, not to us. So the other day, and I told you I'm getting better. This isn't polishing my halo and straightening my wings, because I'm telling you, spend a little time with me, you know I have my issues. But I'm getting better at doing these things. I tend to hurry through my house at times. Now, I have not rearranged any furniture, and the 2 nightstands by my bed haven't been moved in 2 years, the time I've lived there. But somehow, walking in my closet the other day, I ran right into one of those, the corner on that nightstand, and my first emotion, of course, was not gratitude. It was a little bit of pain and frustration, and I was alone. I did a little verbalizing, and then I heard myself, and I went, and I think I even did this out loud, I don't want that. I don't want to go to that energy. And I went down and I rubbed my leg and I said, I'm so sorry, leg. I'm going to be more careful to you. And thank you so much that all my blood vessels are already going, all my body's already working to go heal this spot that I caused trauma to. And I don't even have to think about it. The rest of the day, it's just going to go there. The blood's going to circulate. And I began feeling gratitude for having a really amazing, healthy body. That's how quick we can change. And it does take practice. And I encourage you to practice it. I want to wrap up by just reminding you that this is a season that begins a lot of emotions for a lot of people. We start with Thanksgiving, then we kind of marathon it right through the new year. And many of us have hearts full of gratitude, and it's easy, and we're living in amazing comfort. And some of us are also having different experiences and maybe less comfortable. So as we enter this season, and as you do it, for your own self, center yourself. Take stock of the gifts that you've been given. Trust that everything has been given to you for your good. I look back now on some of the most, if I told you, people tend to get on their pity pot and then they want to have a competition who had it the worst. Yeah, take a rain check on that. And when I first started preparing for this, my first thought was, Sally, Joe, a lot of times people think you've had this cakewalk life. maybe they don't know, and then I started listing some of the doo-doo, and I thought, nope, I'm not sharing it. Not sharing it. Not in a competition to have had the most miserable life. I don't even want to remember those things. You know where I am? I'm right here in Center for Spiritual Living, right here and right now, and this is the only moment I have. And I get to choose how I feel, so I don't have to revisit anything from yesterday. I want to plan for tomorrow. It is with a heart full of incredible gratitude that I remind you to find some tools. If you don't use the ones that I shared with you today, find some tools that will help you. You have the power at any moment, particularly when you recognize that you're not liking how you're feeling. Find a tool, use it, and begin shifting up and raise that emotion up. For me, again, music is one of my best go-tos. And I think it's why churches all over use music. It's such a universal happiness tool. Play the ABC game or make one up for yourself. But remember, it's got to be something you never said you were thankful for before. One day when I was doing that, because I can really brainstorm well, I lived in Texas, and I did A, I don't remember what I said, and then B came, and then with the letter C, the word cockroach came to my mind, and I went, oh my, okay, well, I'm going to trust that there's a good reason for them. You just never know what's going to come up, but it's part of God's creation too. I think sometimes God makes mistakes. And who said no, she doesn't? I love that. And then the third one is to go deeper. Go deeper than the surface stuff. Look a little deeper. And remember that truly the universe is always for you. I love you. Thank you.
As we settle ourselves into that sacred place that lives within each one of us, I give thanks. I give thanks for Sally Joe's beautiful reminder that the world is here for us, that we are at choice, that even in the midst of great sadness and sorrow, in the midst of struggles, that we get to choose how we respond. And also that all of our emotions are holy. They each have a purpose. Sadness and anger and fear all serve us to remind us, to energize us, to help us remember to pay attention to what's important to us so that we can feel joy and peace and love. And so right now we recognize the love that lives within each one of us. The love of the divine that created each one of us in its image and likeness, that lives and moves and has its being through us, as us, for us. And right now we each think of one thing, one new thing to be grateful for. I'm grateful for a tool to help me feel closer to God instead of farther from God when I'm driving my car. Whatever it is, we are grateful. And in this season of gratitude, we count our blessings and recognize they are many. And in gratitude that this is the truth, we say together, and so it is.